Hi, I'm Rob, and this is my Vewlix style arcade cabinet which I designed and built myself, with obvious inspiration from Vewlix style cabinets themselves. I liked the look of Vewlix style cabinets and Megacade cabinets too, but there are flaws on both of those cabinets which I wanted to rectify if building my own cabinet, and which I've done so in making this one. I've no issues at all with the Vewlix arcade cabinets. They are absolutely fantastic units and really good. It's the Vewlix style ones which I have a problem with. If you're looking at or think of buying a Vewlix style one, the chances are it's a Chinese replica or copy of proper Vewlix style cabinets. And the main issue with these is the sound quality. The ones that I've seen and played, the sound quality was really poor, and sound for me is a big deal on arcade games. You need decent sound quality. So for me that had to be fixed when building this cabinet. On Megacade cabinets, most people will find this a little bit bizarre, but the main issue I have with those cabinets is the screen size. On the big Megacade 50-inch version, 50 inches screen is just way too big for most games when you're standing this far away from a machine playing it. Typically you're playing a game this close to an arcade machine, like this, and this is a 32-inch screen on this one, and it's fine. It's the correct viewing angle, you see it, everything properly, it's not uncomfortable to look at, and is just the right size. On a 50-inch screen this close, I find it uncomfortable to look at and, to be honest, a little bit ridiculous. I can see why they did it, because on the shooting games, when you stand a few feet back, that screen comes into its own then and it looks absolutely fantastic. But for most games it looks just way too big. So for me, a 32-inch screen was the way to go. The other issue with those type of cabinets as well is the angle they have the screen set at when playing shooting games. As you can see here, my screen is very nearly vertical. This means that when you're standing at it, looking straight at it, you only see it at a very slight angle, so it looks natural. But also, when you're standing further back playing a shooting game, from about here, the screen still looks correct. It doesn't look distorted or squished. On the Megacade cabinets and other similar cabinets I've seen as well, and I've seen this flaw many times, the screen they have is set at a much steeper angle, and it makes the screen look distorted and all wrong. I can demonstrate this on another machine that I have, which has the exact same flaw. This machine here has a built-in light sensor and can play Lightgun games too. It's a very similar angle to machines like the Megacade on the screen in the way that you look at it. In other words, you look down upon it, so the screen is an angle to make that comfortable. That's fine when standing at the machine. The issue comes when playing Lightgun games. This is how you see the screen normally. The ratio looks good, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Step back to play a gun game. Now it may not look too bad there, but believe me, when you're playing a light gun game, that slight angle just makes the screen look all wrong. If I now lift the camera up to demonstrate if you're looking down upon the screen properly, you may be able to see that screen ratio now looks correct again. This may be a bit OCD and a bit over fussy for some people, but I just like things to look right and just be as good as they possibly can be. As I said, the main inspiration for building the Vewlix style cabinet came from Vewlix and Megacade cabinets themselves, but also from my girlfriend herself. This cabinet here, this Bayonetta themed one, and this virtual mini pinball were both in the living room, in the space that the Vewlix style cabinet now sits. And basically, she thought they were a little bit too jazzy for the living room, and she's probably right, to be honest. So they got moved into here, and I decided to build something a bit more, as she put it, wife-friendly. By wife-friendly, what I mean by that is a more subtle grey colour theme. Rather than the bright vivid colours of the previous machines, this kind of style blends in much more naturally with the living room surroundings, and it does look better overall. The other machines did look a little bit far out for the living room, so we're really happy with the way this one now looks in the living room. Now, onto the features. For this machine I chose a 32-inch IPS monitor. IPS for me was really important for this because when you play multiplayer games, or maybe standing a little bit further back to play Lightgun game for example, an IPS monitor doesn't show lack of contrast or brightness from slight angles as an LCD would. So you can stand to the side quite a lot more. If you're a little bit shorter and looking up on the screen, it doesn't matter. Or even if you're a little bit taller, you don't really lose any contrast ratio, which makes a big difference. Sound wise, this has got a nice meaty sound bar on it. The bass on it is fantastic for this size of sound bar, and the treble and mid-range both really sweet and sound really good. For the buttons, for the main controls, it's your typical affair which you would expect. You've got a 1-player start and a 2-player start. This button here is a pause button, so if you need a break for any reason, get a cup of tea, go to the toilet, you can just press that button, pause the game, do what you got to do and come back and carry on. There's your typical credit button, which is self-explanatory. And this button here I made as a soft reset button. I play a lot of games that are kind of high score chases, trying to beat friends' high scores and things like this. And sometimes you need a good start in a game. If you lose a life really early or something like that, then you basically need to start again. So rather than waste time deliberately killing your lives so you can start the game again, you can just press that button, it takes you back to the start of the game, and you can just start fresh. Pretty handy. Control wise, I chose pre-built Hori Wrap 4 Hayabusa sticks. I love these sticks. Got nothing wrong with the likes of Sanwa and Suzo Hap and things like that, but these are the best joysticks I ever used, and for me, I just had to have them on this machine. The sticks on these are super light and really responsive. I love them. And the buttons again are really fast and quite quiet too, considering like the kind of buttons. Like a lot of buttons are really loud and clicky. These not so. If you bash them really hard, obviously they get noisier. All around, I love these sticks, so I installed them on both sides obviously, and there they are. Got a nice colour themed seat for when I'm playing single player games. You can sit down there and that's really comfy. I've also got 2 Ultimark light guns. You can play 1 or 2 player, or if you want to go Cast the Troy style from face off, you can do both guns at the same time on certain games. There's 2 Xbox 360 style Joypads there. What that means is, on a lot of main games, you can actually play 4 players. Obviously 2 people have to use the Joypads rather than joysticks, but it's still better than nothing, which is like, and there's not that many 4-player games anyway, which get played that often, but it's still nice to have them there. The other benefit of those 2 is that this machine is running coinops Next 2, and it also has coinops Next 1 on it at the same time. The reason for that is, on coinops Next 2, pretty much all the games, including the console games like Mega Drive or Genesis if you're American, SNES, Atari, PS1, 2 and 3, are all mapped to use these joysticks. But some people, me included, now and again want to play a console game with the original control method, or very close to it, which is a handheld joypad. So on coinops Next, the first version, I have the console games mapped to the joypads under there, because A, it's sometimes better, and B, it can feel just more authentic playing the games they were originally intended. This machine also has a wireless PC pad, so when I want to access anything on the PC or change some settings, like make a game a little bit brighter for example, you can do that really easily with that controller there. Okay, now for the games and the game systems that are on this cabinet. One thing I really like about coinops Next 2 is this quick menu, I call it, on the left hand side. what these are shortcuts. If I press down on the controller, I think that is favourites, the stars one. I haven't actually used it properly yet, but I'm presuming that's what it is. But then we come down to this one here, and this is all arcade games. These are all games that are in the arcade. I'll just whiz across these quickly before showing everything that's on here. So you've got all different sections, which is a really cool idea, all split up into categories. So if you want to play a particular type of game from a particular arcade manufacturer, it's really, really easy to find in that section. The next one down is all consoles, more modern consoles, shall we say, as well. So we've got like 3DO and Dreamcast, GameCube, Jaguar, N64, etc. Really good when you fancy reminiscing over one-year-old console games you used to play as a kid. Next one down is really retro console games, or really old stuff like original Ataris and ColecoVisions, Mega Drive or Genesis, and Intellivision, and so on and so on. Again, these menus are really handy when you fancy finding a particular type of game, which is one thing that I didn't like about Hyperspin as a front end. I've seen people trying to find some games on Hyperspin. I don't know if it's been improved since, but the version I saw people clicking through there's so many menus just trying to find a game, which this quick menu makes a lot easier. Next section down here is the handheld section. So we have all the handheld systems. And next down from there we have the computers. I'm not showing everything on each one of these because I'm about to go through the whole list of everything that's on here system wise. The next one down from that is settings. So here we go. I'm not going to talk, I'm just going to let it run through one at a time. And this is all the systems that are on this arcade cabinet.
Dragon's Lair, a fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon.
Blast off!
1, go!
But there it is, that's all the different systems on the cabinet. Next one along is the settings, where you can just change all sorts of things, like whether you want sharp full screen, scan lines on or off, glass effect on or off, things like that. I usually have it on true aspect ratio with scan lines on, which is for me the best way to have it, to make it look authentic to most machines. So there's a video. If you liked it, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm going to be adding all sorts of content in the future. So thanks for watching, and see you again next time.